Very intentionally not on this list. You know why? I'm doing a list of the best action stars or my favorite action stars. I'm not doing a list of fat old men who try to do karate. Welcome back to Dramatic Evaluation. In this video, I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite action stars of all time, by the way. Please hook me up and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please leave a comment. And by the way, if you think I'm wearing pants right now, get real. So the important thing to note here is this is my favorite, okay? This isn't top 10 best, top 10 most iconic, top 10 whatever the heck. This is just my list of ones that I like. So the nostalgia is going to factor in here. The movies that I've seen and am familiar with, it's going to factor in here. So I'll do my top 10 and then I'll do honorable mentions at the end. There are quite a few that could be on the list, might be on your list, didn't make my list, but are worth mentioning. And I won't spend too much time on each one of these, as this is going to be pretty long if I do, and even if I don't, it's going to still be pretty long. So let's get right into it. Okay, number 10 on the list. I'm going to go Sylvester Stallone. This might be super low for some people. And quite frankly, he's only on this list because he has to be, I feel like. I never liked Sylvester Stallone. I was never a fan. Quite frankly, I didn't watch a bunch of his bigger movies. So he's like, I feel like most known back in the day for like Rocky, Rambo. Didn't see any of those. I didn't watch any of those movies. Probably should, but at this point I feel like they won't hold up and they won't be good and I won't like them and they'll just be whack old movies. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, man. I can't leave him off this list because he is a classic. He's one of the top upper echelon, what you think of when you think of classic action stars. So out of respect for that, and then also with the few movies I have seen, like Cliffhanger, Daylight, Demolition Man, Over the Top, these are all solid movies. So I threw him on the list at number 10 for that. May get some hate for that he's this low, but like I said, he just wasn't, I was just not a sly guy. So there he is. Number 9 is a more modern one. I'm going to throw Chris Hemsworth on the list here at number 9. He can be very funny, very charismatic, incredibly charismatic and watchable. By the way, I'm going to say that so many times in this list. I think I did the same type of thing on my favorite actors list that I did, and that's just a big part of it. Aside from being able to kick butt and do action stuff, like being charismatic and likable and watchable is a huge part, and that's what goes into this list a lot, so I'm going to mention that a million times, so I'm sorry about it. But yeah, very, very watchable. He can be funny, but he can also do serious. Not a huge repertoire of action movies, honestly. The bulk of it is all the Avengers stuff, so obviously Thor, he plays Thor, he's in all the Thor movies, all the Avengers movies. Does comedy and action quite well, I would say, in all of those movies. He was in Red Dawn when he was a little bit younger. Bad Times at the El Royale, if you haven't seen that, is awesome. He's not the hugest part in that, and it's not action, but just it's a shout out. That's a great movie. Check that out. The Extraction movies 1 and 2, I was pleasantly surprised at how good those are, and those are heavy action, and he's doing a lot of crazy choreographed fight stuff in those. So yeah, man, Chris Hemsworth, he's great. He's awesome. Number 8, Jackie Chan. This is a classic one, or at least a little bit older one. He had a huge moment in the 90s when Rumble in the Bronx, when those movies that were already kind of being made overseas came over to America. He got just wildly popular. I think Rumble in the Bronx was the first one, I feel like, that launched the popularity, at least that I was aware of. And man, he really popped onto the scene because of the whole stunt aspect of it. It was like, oh, he does his own stunts, he does crazy stunts. They always had the outtakes at the end of the movies where he would do this fail at the stunts and hurt himself and stuff like that. I remember that being a huge thing. But the movies were just, Rumble in the Bronx, like I mentioned. He did the Rush Hour movies when he started getting more mainstream. Shanghai Noon, or veered into comedy. There's Condor or something, I forget the name of that one, but there were a few that were in the action realm that were just super action packed. Tons of stunts, tons of fighting, tons of crazy, just super fun action oriented stuff. Number 7, honestly, maybe too high on the list because I'm not a super fan of this dude, but undeniably doing right now, The Rock. Spoiler alert. Number 7, The Rock. Doing what I think some of the high, I don't want to name names other than I guess I'll say Sylvester Stallone because I already mentioned him at number 10. Doing with him and those types of guys were doing in the 80s and 90s, trying to do that today, just be in 1,000 action movies. So yeah, he's kind of one of the modern ones doing that. He's making as many movies as possible, veering into comedy too, but a comedy action like Jumanji, but like movies like Skyscraper, Red One, Fast and the Furious. I don't watch those, but just a ton, like Rampage, like a ton of movies. Yeah, hey, he's built a massive repertoire. It's kind of hard to argue that he's one of the top modern action stars, and yeah, he's good. He's fine. Number 6. Jean-Claude Van Damme. This is a classic one, and this is a nostalgia one for sure. This dude was not a great actor. You rewatch some of his older movies, not a good actor. And one thing I always remembered about him, and we would always make fun of him about the holding of these poses where he'd be like, "Ah!" and like hold that pose forever. It was just hilarious. It was laughable, the like slow motion mouth open pose that he would do all the time. But he made a good chunk of awesome movies like Bloodsport, Lionheart, Time Cop, Kickboxer, Double Impact, like a ton of, like, he had his moment in the 90s busting out these movies, maybe even late 80s, busting out a ton of just awesome action movies that got me through my childhood. Number 5, I'm gonna go Bruce Willis. Awesome actor, awesome movies. This dude's the man. He's the everyman. He's not ripped. He's not huge, gnarly. He's kind of, not like The Rock, okay? Not like Jean-Claude Van Damme, but yet still a man's man and an action star, Die Hard, absolute classic series of movies. The original, obviously awesome. 2 was fine. 3 was rad. I watched 3 like 1,000 times. And then they kind of fell off they did a couple more and it was whatever. Looper, The Fifth Element. He's made plenty of movies that you can consider this dude an action star. And he's awesome. Honestly, could be higher on the list here, but his list of movies isn't super long, at least for me, the ones I've seen. So he's here at number 5. Number 4, the man who just can't stop, Tom Cruise. Into his 60s, he's still making movies and looking good and doing good, and he's starting to finally start to look older in the last Mission Impossible. But yeah, he makes great movies. He's been in a ton of movies. He's charismatic. He's watchable. He's intense. He's a great actor. He's probably one of the best actors, I would say, on this list of guys. A lot of these action stars are kind of questionable at times with their acting, but it's like whatever, it's fine. But they're not like, they're doing action rather than drama for a reason. But Tom Cruise is an awesome actor. He's very good. And he's just done a massive catalog at this point of action movies, I feel like. Mission Impossible, all of those. There's 1,000 of those. Edge of Tomorrow, awesome movie. Oblivion. He's just done a ton of stuff. And he's just undeniably great, watchable, awesome action star. And that's going to do it for part 1. I think we will end here and we'll do the rest of the list in the part 2 video, and then I'll go over all the honorable mentions in that video as well. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please leave a comment and stay tuned. Until next time,